Salvage Union is a bundle of half-decent ideas held together with a system which is god-awful, and I hate everyone involved in its creation. But let's start at the top. Salvage Union is a 2023 TTRPG that was on Kickstarter back in 2021, notably for one of the few RPGs to use the Quest RPG system, which I did a video on calling bad because rolling a d20 to mimic PBTA does not inspire confidence. However, some of you may know Leyline Press from their firing of the Lamentations of the Flame Princess editor for working on the wrong game for a decent paycheck. Their Shadow of Mog game, of course, which is just one man seething about Brexit, or their Guro Gaslight game about turning a girl into a horse that they sell for actual money. Salvage Union is a game about mechs, but it's actually not about mechs at all. The first thing I want you to understand with everything I'm about to say is this chart. Learn it! Alright, good job, you now know how to actually play Salvage Union. Roll d20 and resolve it. That's 99% of the game in its entirety. Are there modifiers? No. Can you reroll stuff? In one circumstance. Quick rundown on the lore, of course. Shit went down, corporations are bad, and we are now communist Jawas because we live as dirt farmers in mobile cities in a horrible animal farm-like situation. If you read it at face value, it's communist gobbledygook. If you're a real human, communism invents money yet again, and Napoleon the Pig was right. So we can break the game down into three easy components: the pilot, the mech, and the union. The pilot is you, and you suck. Not going to beat around the bush here at all. Like Quest, characters are defined less by their abilities and more by their ability points. There are different classes which define your play style, of course, but there's a nasty secret: they don't really provide anything fun. Let's take a look at the engineer. Your first ability in one of your ability trees is engineering expertise. You can answer questions with a roll, and it takes a P, which you have 5 of. Talking Shop, which is a tier 2 of 3 ability, has you gaslight someone to repair stuff for you for 3 AP. Some of these abilities have actual value or kind of a little bit interesting, then others blindside you with talk to someone like a human being for a limited amount of AP you have to work with per session, which you recover by resting for a week. So your class is very few abilities to actually work with. But hey, who cares, right? Pilots don't matter in mech stuff, right? Right. Alright, it's mechin' time. Alright, cool, well, fuck you. Mechs in Salvage Union are industrial, as they are salvaged, as you may guess. You start with a tier 1 mech, because this game loves tiers. With 20 tier 1 scrap, you don't get a mech, you build one though. Because every mech is composed of a number of parts slotted into it, but not really slotted into it. All held together by energy points, which are action points for mechs. From there, you have your systems, and your modules, which you can have as many or as few as you points allow, are there for you to pick and choose some, with similar heat capacity for pushing your mech for rerolls, and health and structure being the same. And you also have cargo, which is vastly important, and you never ever have enough. Alright, so the game has quite a few mecha options for you to choose from, and you can say, wow, cool, look at this one. Sorry, you're getting a mule to start with. Generally speaking, your tier 1 mechs are pretty basic. Enjoy those 5 mechs. Most of the chassis abilities range from wow, cool to increased cargo capacity. The first real combat mech being tier 2, so good luck getting that one anytime soon. There's no real consistency either behind the designs. Some are bipedal, spider walkers, even giant fuck-off ones the players should never and never will get. But there's a secret. This isn't your mech. This box is. You start with a box instead of a mech, so let's take the scrapper for example. To buy it, we're already at 14 scrap. You need to buy a locomotion system to actually move. So our 12 system slots are now 10 slots, and we go down to only 12 scrap. Other locomotion systems pop up at tier 3, 4, and 5, which is much later on, but we don't have any arms yet, so we need to buy a 50 caliber machine. Abso-fucking-lutely not. We need something with the salvaging trait, obviously, so if we keep it cheap, we can have a chainsaw arm, but wait, you need to buy and actually carry anything, of course, so we'll need a rigging arm as well. Now we get to buy what we want of the 19 Tech 1 parts, but don't spend them all yet in one place. You still need modules, with our 8 scrap left before we get to do anything else, or, you know, pick up an escape hatch. Fun fact, there are actually only 6 salvaging systems in the game, mostly in tier 1 and 3. However, there's also only 4 rigging systems, which are also tied to salvaging systems. With a pretty tight budget at all times, as everything costs money and scrap is very valuable, teams in Salvage Union devolve into looking very similar to one another with the same gimmick or a few optimized fun mechs, and bitch boy Steve, who pilots a lug with no weapons or defenses, but has cargo and everything we need to actually salvage anything. A small tangent on scrap, as it's all technically perfect. The main gimmick is that you need to get salvage from locations by traveling to them, fishing up broken mechs, and recycling their parts. Easy. Problem is, scrap is a 1-to-1 currency with itself. Let's take a salvage or chassis. Tier 1 scrap worth 1, so it costs 6. However, the Solo has a scrap value of 4, but a tech level 3, so it's technically worth 12 scrap, as tech level just increases the value of it. So TL4 scrap is just 4 TL1. And the game knows this. There's actually an entire trading system about swapping around currencies into what you actually need. This creates a weird base 1 economy where you're not hauling a red laser, you're hauling 3 tier 1 scrap, which a cargo can hold 6 of. But let's move on to the Union. You work on a salvage union, your personal communal gulag. The game would love to convince you that this is important. It's not. The Salvage Union sucks. At its core, it's a money sink to encourage you to continue scrapping to build up its existence. Oh, there's a bunch of bays you can do stuff at. Yeah, but it really doesn't do much outside letting you do things once a downtime. Command bay, you can make a call of where to go. The fucking Mecha bay, you repair things off screen and you don't actually do much there. There are other characters there, but they don't really do anything. And it really just goes on and on from there. You're the only ones gathering resources, piloting mechs, doing anything, or contributing. Union should feel like a communal group, a place of you're fiercely protective of, but you really don't care because you get few incremental advances at set intervals rather than being able to develop different parts of it. Of course, if you fail to pay it, it breaks down and everything gets exponentially harder, so you're usually not encouraged to upgrade it. But if you don't upgrade it, you can't upgrade your own mechs to continue upgrading it. And now we reach to page 232 of 340, and you get to learn the game. Know the chart. Learn the chart. Love the chart. Most things have set damage, so combat becomes a game of praying for the D20 to favor you as your shots go off and hope your build can beat their build before you all die. Salvaging, the Salvage Union, it's 6 pages, which really boils down to roll D20 and get a handful of scrap. Real exhilarating stuff. When I said this game was a bundle of half-decent ideas, I wasn't lying. The concept of a glorified mech dumpster divers with a quota to meet and rent to make do is a good idea. The issue is that the game isn't really that. It's so streamlined and terrified of players doing anything wrong that it sands off any edge it could possibly have. The characters aren't working Joes fighting to make ends meet. They are just people who are cool already and also lame, but also not anything really, because they don't do anything. The mechs aren't consistent in any design philosophy, which makes me want to play a corporate mech pilot, because they at least have cool mechs with fucking legs. The titular Salvage Union, the center of it all, is little more than a black hole of money with a bunch of people who don't do anything except worship you and your ability to roll a d20. Will the game get more? Probably. They'll ask for the community to fill out the rest, release $15 expansion booklets to feed you stuff, or forget about it and go back to Kickstarter to beg for more money. But hey, you bought the game. You gotta love it, right? You paid for it. My name is Notepad, and this was Salvage Union. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the Aventus heavy industrial shareholders for their continued support. Godspeed, good luck, and remember that CEO mindset.